There's days when I see VCRs, and there's other days I see stereo equipment. And well, today I've got a VCR, and this one just came in. Complaint on this one is it doesn't play. When I plugged it in, it doesn't not only not play, but it doesn't load certain tapes. It just kicks them out. So this one's got a couple problems on it. This was a late model Panasonic. I'll say late model, early 2000s. Let's check it out. Okay, this time I got a Panasonic VCR. Complaint on this is it does not play. Well, it doesn't appear to load. Maybe that's what's wrong with it. It's got a loading problem. Let's get the top off this one and take a look and see what's going on. Well, what the hell's going on here? It's like the lid is not opening on the cassette. That's exactly what's happening. What the hell? Piece of crap plastic. Oh, that part's... Okay. It played. Oops. I hit the eject button. Now it loads. What the hell's going on with this thing? Why is it not loading? Is this just... Okay, that is weird. Wonder if these catches are not strong enough, these springs. Maybe it's slipping on the tape. If I push the tape in, what happens? Still nothing. Try a different tape. Maybe the spring on this is a little stronger than others. I don't know. Try a different tape. Now let's just try this tape. Now that tape goes in fine. It plays. And then it stops. And it loads again. Play. Okay, we got a couple problems with this one. It just shut down, and it shut down with the tape loaded. Turn it back on. Plays, playing properly, that's for sure, and then it just stops. Well, this one's going to require a little bit of troubleshooting, I think, and weird. I would think it might be a mode switch, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be. Like, mode switches normally don't work like that. Usually with a mode switch they'll start changing modes. Let's go back to this tape here. I want to see if I can get this tape to load. This tape still doesn't want to load. Look at this. Plastic. Stop it. I just want to see whether it will fast forward and rewind. So let's try rewinding. Well, that's kind of odd. It's not going into full rewind. What about fast forward? fast forward, and it stops. Okay, this is starting to look more and more like maybe a take-up problem. Maybe well, the sensors isn't working, because when the tape goes forward it shuts down, but when the tape goes in reverse it doesn't. But it doesn't go into full speed rewind. So I have to think that either we have a problem with the mode switch, which could be. We certainly have a problem with the front loading mechanism. I have to deal with that. Why that's not working, because this one tape just will not load. Put this tape in and it kicks the tape out. I wonder if the little button on the side here is stronger. The little spring here that holds this, pushes this button. Well, it doesn't appear to be sticking. Doesn't appear any different than the others. The spring on the cassette feels the same. It's a Maxell T30. It's not like it's a cheap tape. That was a T120. But this tape just does not want to load. Weird. Well, I have to deal with that problem as well. Well, let's get the thing to play, because at this point it just shuts off. I'll pull the chassis out. That's right, drop screws into it. Pull the front panel off too. Wonder where this machine was made. Ah man, it's cheap. This couldn't be Japan. It's Panasonic, but where did they make this machine? Indonesia in 2002. There's a screw on the bottom that needs to come out. And a couple more screws to come out. There's another screw here that needs to come out. And there's two more under the chassis. And I think the chassis will lift out now. And I don't know whether this one, the board comes out with it or not. I haven't taken one of these ones apart for a while. I think the whole chassis will lift out on this one. Yeah, the whole chassis lifts out. Oh, okay. There's the mechanism. See, it's hardwired onto the board on this, so you can't even separate the board from it. But there's a mode switch here. We'll clean this for sure. They got these are the take up and supply sensors and the LED. This is for the end of the tape. It might be a problem with this guy here. It reads the rotation of the tape hubs. They have slots in the base of the hub that interrupts the light. So sometimes you get bad solder connections on these. I'll resolder them. We'll take a look at it and resolder it. I wonder if there's a test point I can test it. I guess I could tack a wire on the bottom, but I will resolder it first and just go with that. We'll do the mode switch on it. So if I turn the unit over, supply reel is over here, take-up reel is over here. Let's just take a look at that connection. Now I'm going right into this. First thing I'm looking at, it's just because of the symptom. And I don't know about you, but that looks like it's cracked. That definitely looks cracked to me. I went right there because of the way it wouldn't go forward. It shut down on forward but didn't shut down on rewind. So I went right to the take-up sensor. That's the first place to look. I'm going to resolder that connector, or that connection, that one there, you see, on the collector. That looks to be cracked. So we're going to resolder. I'll do both of them, but we're going to redo this one for sure. Could be the sensor is bad too, but when I see solder connections that look like that, you gotta think that that's where your fault is. Let's go to the other one over here. Where's the other one? The other one's up here. How does it look? That one looks bad too. Look. The crack. See the crack around there? Yeah, with the light. Get the light on the right way. Yeah, that one's bad too. Probably wouldn't hurt to do the main LED in the middle of the board as well while I've got it apart. But and how about the LED in the middle of the board? That one also looks suspect to me. And we're going to look at the two end sensors as well. One of them was over here somewhere. It's where the hell is it? Hey, the board was made in Thailand. It's somewhere in here. Oh, it was way over here. Where's my finger? There it is there. That one there also. You know, that looks bad too. Look at it. Look at the connection there. I think this is our fault. At least one of the faults. I don't know about the loading mechanism, but this is certainly, I think, part of our problem is we have bad connections, and there's another one on the other side over here. I turned the steady shot off on the camera. It fights against me. I move the camera and it sits there and tries to center itself. That one also looks like it's could be redone. This is the take-up photo transistor, and this one will affect loading these ones because this is how it detects if you're pushing the tape in. So we'll do those. I don't see any other connections on here that jump out at me. Where's that mode switch? Where's that mode switch? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think that one needs to be redone too. Okay. Those connections are good. Let's flip this thing over, and I'm going to clean that mode switch now as well, since I've got it apart. Okay, mode switch should pop apart on this thing. break when I take it apart. Maybe I should pull the whole entire switch out, see if I can take it apart after soldering it back in. We'll just unsolder this and take it out. Okay, it should pop out now without much effort. There, okay. Switch is out. Let's try to take this thing apart. How the hell does this come apart? Like that. Yep, she's dirty. So I just heard on the news today that our conservative candidate wants to be prime minister. He says if he's elected, that he's going to put a 100% tariff on EVs coming in from China. I guess that includes the Teslas. The price will double. And he's also going to put a 50% tariff on Chinese semiconductors, which basically means your iPhone will double in price, because that's where they make all this stuff. I don't think you'll see Apple running out and building factories in Canada to build their phones here. They will still build them in China using Chinese chips. It's just that there will be a 50% tax added to all the parts, which will of course be added to the price. So I had to laugh when I heard that one, because the genie is already out of the bottle. That opportunity was there 50 years ago, and they tried it. They tried to embargo the Japanese back in the 80s to stop them from dumping cheap electronics over here, and it didn't work. And we used to have an electronics industry in Canada and the States, and it all dried up because of everybody wants cheap stuff. So what that means is you'll still be getting your cheap stuff, you'll just be paying a lot more for it. That's all. They'll be passing the tariffs on to the consumer. So that switch was kind of dirty. We'll clean the other ones here, these other contacts, and throw this back in, and then we'll see what happens. First of all, see if it will play, and then I don't know what's going on with that front loading mechanism. I guess I'll have to deal with that too, but I'll throw another little bit of cleaner on here just to keep things clean. The kicker to this is I sold 2 Funai VCRs that were given to me. Those 2 that I worked on, I think they were branded Magnavox, but both of them were sold. I'll make more off the repair off this machine than I sold the other ones for. Because used VCRs just don't have any value. Nobody wants to pay money for a used VCR, but they'll pay more money to fix one like this, which I don't think is any better. Because I mean, well, you saw those connections on the bottom there. I don't know how long this thing's, or how long it's been since it was used. It might not have been used for years, but the owner of it wants to use it for something. That's why they brought it to me. So we'll reattach that mode switch and then throw the unit back together, and I can probably test it before I put it back in the cabinet just to see whether it will play. And then I still going to have to, I think, deal with that front loading mechanism for that cassette that doesn't want to go in. Either that or it's the tape. Could be a tape that's not quite up to standard. But okay, I got to make sure that the mode switch is in the correct position. The home position is, I believe it's right here. There's a little arrow on the switch right there, timing mark. That's the home position, because it's going to go into a little keyway that's in the cam gear. So the cam gear here has a keyway that little cutaway here on the switch lines up with. Got to get the hole lined up. Get the LED lined up with the hole in the chassis, and then it should just drop down. I just can't see it, that's all. And I thought the bloody funais were bad. There, did I get it? I might have it. Yeah, I got that one. And let's gotta get the other one over here. And put the plugs in. There's a couple plugs that line up. I think they're in. And the mode switch should be seated. It is. Alright, make sure there's nothing metal on here that's gonna cause a short circuit, and I'll power this thing up. And we'll see whether it works. Okay, power on. Okay, power's on. I'll grab a tape. Not shutting down. That's a good sign. Got a picture. That's an even better sign. So that was the problem. Bad solder connection on the rotation sensors and the end sensors and the LED and the mode switch, and I'm sure there's probably others in there that I didn't catch, but those ones were pretty obvious. We could see them. But this one's now playing, which is good. That head's just clogged. Clear them off with the fingernail. If I get my hand anywhere near this head, it's going to probably pick up interference from the plasma, because there's no shielding on here right now. Let's try that problematic tape. I think that's the eject button there. Okay, this tape is the one that did not want to go in. And it still doesn't want to go in. Why the hell not? Let's try another tape and just observe what it does. So that works. See how it opens? The tape is, the lid is lifted right here. Put in the tape that doesn't want to load. What the hell is going on? What is it hitting? Is it just not? It's like it's not opening the lid. That's weird. It's almost like the little button that lifts the lid up. See, that one works. It's almost like the little button that pushes the button on the side to release the catch isn't pushing it in far enough. Maybe the tapes are, I don't know, maybe the cassette itself is, I mean, I'm looking at the two catches here on the tapes. This one here is the one that won't open. Weird. I'll try pushing the mechanism in by hand. Release the catches on here. It's almost like there's a little plastic lever here. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but there's a little plastic lever that is supposed to push that pushes the little button on the side of the tape, and it just doesn't appear to be pushing it. Or if it's pushing it, it's not pushing it far enough. You see this other tape, the one that does work. Okay, so just push it very minutely and this tape opens. On this other tape here, when I push it the same amount, the tape doesn't open. I have to actually push it in much further. I wonder if it's the shell. I wonder if it's the cassette. Obviously it's the machine, but I wonder if it's just the dimensions of the cassette are a little different. I'm just going to look at the... it might be the catch here on the edge of the tape. It might be a little bit thicker on one tape than the other. This little lever certainly doesn't appear to be moving as far as I think it should. There's a little lever on the side here that should push in, and it doesn't appear to be pushing. I'm watching it. I don't know if you guys can see it or not on camera. It's a bad angle for the camera, I know, but the little lever is right here. That's the little button. Can you guys see it? Maybe I can move this over a bit more just to try to get a bit better angle. So the button it's right there, and you're under this little. Let's see if you can see it when I move this. Can you see it? It doesn't appear to move. There's a little white catch there, and it should push forward, and it doesn't appear to. So maybe it's broken, or if it does, it's not pushing very far. Anyway, that appears to be what the fault is. Let's see if I can figure out how to fix it. It's in this front loader, so I guess I have to pull the front loader apart to get to that. I think I just pushed there's little catches here, and this should lift out. This one's come off. You just have to pry in here a little bit like this, and then this will lift off. There, okay, that lifts off, and now I can lift out. I should be able to lift out this mechanism. Actually, I probably don't even need to lift it out. I just want to inspect it. So when I push this in, I got no power to it now. That little lever should push in, and it's not moving. What the hell activates it? There's a plastic cam right down here. You may be able to see it. This is the lever that gets pushed, and that rides on this plastic cam, which is supposed to push this in. And when that gets pushed in, it pushes in this other half of the lever that opens the tape compartment, and it does not appear to be pushing. If we take a look, you guys see it? Maybe you can't see it, but the keyway that pushes the tape, that opens the lid, you can see the lever there. If I push the mechanism over a bit, I think we just have to bend this over a little bit. Maybe push the mechanism over just a bit on this side. That appears to be what's holding it up. It's just not, the basket's not pushed over far enough. Either it's not sitting straight, or maybe it's slightly bent. It could be just this plastic frame, because it doesn't open unless I push the basket over. If I push the basket over a bit like that, it will open. This is the tape that doesn't want to open. You put the tape in there and push it in, it doesn't open. But if I pull it back now, if I push this over a bit this way, it will open. Just worn plastic is what the problem is. Maybe even this top piece here. I can see what's causing it, but what I can do to resolve that is that's a different problem, and it only seems to do it with some tapes. I'm just going to power the unit up, make sure nothing's touching the power supply. I just want to see what happens if I push it on one side. So if I just push it a bit like that, aha, you see? If I don't, oh, now it's going to work. What did I do? See, now it sticks. But if I push it a little bit like that, it works. What a flimsy piece of crap. What a flimsy piece of junk. So I don't know whether this is on the metal where it's mounted is slightly bent or what. That's what I got to do to make it work. To fix that problem, I have to position this over just a bit so that it's pushing just a little bit like that. And that might be just this right down here. I'm just going to try loosening off and repositioning the set screws that hold this basket in place. And now it's loading. Okay, I think I'll put this back in the cabinet and see if it will still work. Cheap. I don't want to lift on the mechanism at all because I don't want to damage anything. It's so thin. The metal on this thing is just so thin. It looks like it's just going to break and bend and I think that's in. Pretty sure that's in. We'll throw some screws in it. There was never any complaint about it not loading the tape either. The complaint was it would not play. So that the loading problem may be a problem that I discovered here with my color bars tape, because that was not a complaint. So in other words, if I go back to the guy and tell him, well, I had to fix the front loading mechanism because it wasn't loading a tape, the reply I'm going to get is, what are you talking about? It was loading the tape fine. It just wouldn't play. That's where I'm at too. You know, you don't want to do too much because you can't really charge extra for something that someone didn't complain about. What I can charge for is fixing the problem that was causing it to shut down. And that problem has now been solved. Throw the front faceplate on here and we'll give it a final test and then get it out of here. Fingers crossed it still loads this troublesome color bar tape. It doesn't. But if I push it over to the right when I push it in, Oh, now it works. There, that's the solution. Just push it to the right with your finger if it is not loading properly. Just give it a little push to the right. That works. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to leave it at that because that was never a complaint. And if I load one of the other tapes, it loads fine. Make sure it plays still now that I've got it back together. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Actually made some money today. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.